All right, welcome to the August 17th edition of Idea Share. We will get right to it. My name is Beth Golick from Key Ministry, and Catherine Boyle, who is our Director of Mental Health Ministries, is here too. She's waving down there. It's been a week or two since or 2 weeks, I guess, since we've talked. So what's going on? What new do we have to report?
I'll jump on. Our church reopened this weekend with outside services and hybrid with drive-in services. We're in San Antonio, Texas. It was 104 degrees Saturday for our 5 o'clock service. So we had probably about 300 in attendance. So not near as many as we would normally have when we were doing our drive-in onlys. And we built a park, and so the park is on our property, so it's out in the park. So the plan is to continue the next 3 weekends with these outdoor / drive-in and the parking lot that's by the park if people want to drive in and tune into the radio station. So, but the consensus with our special needs is the ones that are doing online want to stay online because the plan is to open church up for all, to have 4 services, September 12th and 13th. With no temperature taking, no social distancing, masks required for everybody. And consensus with our special needs with that is that we don't think special needs is going to open very much at all in September. So if anyone has any other ideas, the families that I've talked to, the ones that have come regularly, tell me that they will not be able to comply with the mask rule for their children. And our special needs rooms, they're nice, great rooms, but they have very poor circulation. So a big concern for us. Even if they come in with the mask on, the is that they're going to pull our masks off or take their own masks off, which really equates to no mask at all. And then without the air circulation, we're still a little bit concerned about that. So any thoughts on that, I would appreciate.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's start by doing this. Show of hands, how many of you is your church meeting outside at this point? All right, so it looks like about a third of us maybe are meeting outside. How many of you are meeting back in the building? Oh, wow. Okay, wow. That's even more. Okay. So for those of you who are meeting back in the building, could somebody share what that looks like for the special needs ministry or special needs classrooms, and maybe that could help answer some of Diana's questions.
We're having only worship services. We have no small groups, including special needs, but we're looking at about maybe a month from now of changing that.
Okay. So you're just in like a sanctuary or some type of thing, social distance, masks or no masks?
Masks are optional.
Okay.
Staff are all wearing masks. Congregants, it's optional.
Okay. Ryan, what's going on with you? I know I saw that you did the movie night. Can you tell us a little bit about what your church is doing on Sundays?
Yeah, we did our movie night about 2 weeks ago. It was great. We're going to get ready to release kind of a how-to package for free on how to do a movie night. So more on that to come pretty soon. But as far as Sunday mornings go, we are doing 2 services in the building. We spread out service times to allow more time for like cleaning in between services. Masks are required. And it's family ministry only. So there are no classes, no special needs, no children's ministry, no nothing like that yet. But I'm hearing that that's probably coming pretty soon to bringing back some of the classes and stuff.
Okay. All right. So do you find that any of like the members of your congregation that might normally be in your special needs classes are any having problems with the mask? Like for the most part, are they wearing masks?
I've not heard of too many problems on our end. And honestly, there are a handful of our folks that are in our special needs ministry that are attending the services. So even though we don't have our classes, they're really eager to
Yeah, I'm
get back and to be back. And like we saw a great turnout for the movie night, and they want to be in the building with their peers. So they're eager. I don't know that we're quite ready, but they seem to not be having too much trouble with the mask right now.
Okay. All right. Anybody else that can share about how it's going inside the building?
We
Hello.
relaunched our children's ministry and our special needs ministry, but we had to completely change our format for our special needs ministry due to the pandemic. Prior to COVID, we had one-on-one buddies, and all of our kids were assigned a buddy and went into the regular classrooms. But because only a fraction of our ministry partners came back, we changed the format for this season to be a small group within our resource room. And we are bringing the curriculum into our room, and then doing all the things we can do with the masks and the, cleaning before and after and those type of things. But I will say we've done it for 2 weeks now. It has gone better than I dreamed because the kids have a lot more freedom to kind of be themselves, and we can have more adapted curriculum that fits them better. So a lot more movement and stuff. And last week was probably the best curriculum lesson we've ever had in the 6 years we've had our ministry.
Oh, wow.
So we didn't get all of our kids back either. Like some of the kids are immunocompromised, so they are still worshiping online. And we are still sending out online lessons to them so they feel included. And then the last thing that we did differently since the pandemic is because only some of our kids came back and only a fraction of our ministry partners came back. We launched our ministry is called 139 Kids, a 139 Kids prayer team, where one of our ministry partners who is not coming back in person is leading it. And she is contacting all our team members, all of our families every month to get prayer requests, send out notes. So we can try to keep everyone still feeling like a family, even when we're not.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That goes really well. We've been talking about how we can continue to engage our volunteers. I'm assuming ministry partner is volunteer. Like
that's what we call it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
So we've got some chat going on over here. So yes, Allison asked for best practices for setting up Sunday school, and that's kind of along the lines of what we're talking about. Yeah, Amanda in Central Ohio is not going back in person till at least January, and Bronwyn in California. Yeah, we know you guys aren't going back anytime soon, but this is it's good information. I know. So I'm in Northeast Ohio, and we're not back in the building yet. I mean, on Sundays, I'm back in the building right now, but we're not back in the building yet. But starting this Sunday, we will be having, in addition to our outdoor service, we're going to be having outdoor Sunday school. So this is going to be for kids ages 24 months up through 4th, 5th, 6th, through 8th grade. Well, 4th grade for children's ministry, and then there's going to be a middle school thing. So we will not have our special needs classrooms for like our teens and adults. Any younger kids that would normally be in my special needs classrooms, but will have a buddy for them in their grade level area outside. So it's going to be interesting. We have 2 enclosed playgrounds, and that's where the toddlers and the preschoolers will be. And then elementary is going to be, we're creating an obstacle course painted on the blacktop. So thank you, because that was an idea from this idea share. And we'll have we're going to barricade it, put barricades around it. And we'll see. So to answer Allison's question, even though it's outside, we are limiting to 12 students, and that's kind of based on, I think, our governor's recommendations. And elementary kids will have to wear masks because that's our state mandate anyway, with the exception of, I have a kid that's coming that will not be able to wear a mask, one of my students. So we'll be kind of social distancing for elementary. Preschool and toddlers, there's like no social distance, you can't. All volunteers and staff will be wearing masks. And we'll I'll be able to report back how that goes. So we're excited though. It's just another way to, try to get back in person. So we'll see. And they have to reserve, they have to sign a liability waiver. I mean, it's a whole thing. So let's see. Carrie, you're in Minnesota, right? I think.
That's correct.
So they
Minnesota. Sorry.
Okay. They launched in person for Big Church this past weekend. So in person indoors, correct?
Correct.
And then they'll be launching Kidsmin and Kids Care, the name of their special needs ministry, the week of September 12th and 13th. They won't require masks or social distancing in this first phase of your gathering kids, but will limit the number of kids to 10 per room for early childhood and 35 per room elementary. And Jennifer says, for our adult population with special needs, they are each at separate tables and are doing great with face shields. Oh, that's good to know. All staff wear masks. No in-person church services until mid to late September. However, we do have programming during the week for all ages on Mondays and Tuesdays. They must wear a mask to enter and exit. Adult day programming Wednesday through Friday, and they do well with the face shield. They are also in the bakery, and it has been great since mid-June. Okay, so you've got a lot of experience there. Good. Thank you for sharing that. All right, what else is going on?
So we're fine. Oh, go ahead. Someone else is going. I can't see them, but they're going. No, go for it. Whoever else is going.
Thanks. I will. So we've been meeting in person. We have our auditorium. They're both family-friendly services, but the way we're handling it is we have another big room that we're meeting. That's where we're trying to be more friendly, family-friendly, where the music is, we're encouraging people to dance, and they have, instead of the rows, we have squares mapped out on the floor for families, and we're playing games before, and so trying to make it more active for the kids, though we show the message from the auditorium, the same message. Okay. But we have not opened special needs ministries, and I haven't seen any of my usual students.
Thank you, Autumn. Bronwyn?
I'd say we are finally able to do some in-person respite. We are starting with one student, and she's actually a daughter of someone on staff, so that felt a little bit easier to begin there. We're doing it at a park across the street from our church because we have outdoor space, but we're doing outdoor preschool because preschool doesn't fall under church or K-12 in our state, so we have a lot more freedom to do that. So we're going to meet at the park, and there's like 3 of us doing it with this one kiddo. It's going to be fun, I think, but we're finally able to do that, and I think it's going to give, it's definitely given the volunteers a lift and the families a lift, like knowing that we can do something. We have been able to meet not on Sundays, but in the evenings in small socially distant groups for like youth group, and we're thinking about bringing it down to the 5th and 6th graders as well. It's like a very intricate dance of like what we are able to do and how we're able to do it. But you know, we are finding after months of Zoom, and then the kids, like everyone here is starting online next week at school, like we need some in person. So we're trying to do as much as we can under the tiny little windows we have. So, but thank you to this group for that, for the in-person respite, because a lot of you guys are much farther ahead of where I am. And so it's been good to hear, so we can plan.
Yeah, for sure. Amanda says they're starting midweek drive-up services, pop-up food pantries, and are launching a new and more inclusive small group format that will meet online. Yeah, that's something my church is really looking at too, the small groups, because we're going to be, for this fall, we're going to have like a big push to get into small groups, but realizing that so much of it's going to have to happen online. Not everybody's comfortable with meeting in person yet. So Amanda, do you want to tell us more?
Yeah, I just thought the small group thing has been really interesting. I just had a meeting last week with our small groups pastor about it. So what they're going to do is they're going to do it on Wednesdays, and they're going to have like you get on the Zoom link. It's going to be on Zoom, and then one of our pastors or leaders is going to do like a 20-minute teaching, and then there's going to be some discussion questions, and it's how Zoom breaks you into groups. But we've been able to connect some of our families that maybe wouldn't want to do or haven't been able to do small groups, just because, you know, they maybe have a kiddo or an adult, or they themselves like have some mobility or driving restrictions, just different things. But this will be able to get them hooked up with a small group. And then the hope is that, you know, some relationships will organically form out of that to, you know, when we start meeting in person. And right now, small groups are able to, like, I lead a small group, and then we also have a small group for parents and caregivers that's still meeting, but it's all online, just because that's where our folks' comfort level is right now. But I'm excited about that. And we've been able to just help some of our folks get web cameras, and using some of our old staff laptops that are just getting refurbished and put up with webcams for some of our folks that don't have access to computers or webcams. And so they've been sort of isolated. And now that, I mean, you know, we've all probably said this, but it's going from like a clunky, like we're trying to figure this out on the fly, to like, this is now like our reality. And this, I'd hate the new normal. I'm not calling it that. But like that idea that this is going to be with us, and we need to like equip those that are, you know, maybe don't have the means to go out and purchase a smartphone or something to be able to do the services. So I'm excited about that. And you know, just trying to work with our small group pastors. They work on like the teachings and you know, the people that are going to be leading and facilitating some of those chat rooms, you know, how to be inclusive and having some of those conversations. Just it has been really, that's been life-giving. But I feel like this has been just such a season of in ministry, just like, oh, I've been grieving so much that's lost, but that feels good. Excited.
Thank you for sharing. That's really encouraging. Like, you're right. I mean, it's just been like, you can't even describe what this has been like, but just to find some of these positives, it's really helpful to hear that every now and then. So thank you for sharing. Yeah, Bronwyn says the grief is for real.
It really is. It really is. You're right, Bronwyn.
Anybody else have something encouraging that's come out of this?
Hey there, I was going to say, so we're still in Pennsylvania. We've not actually had an outdoor service. We've tried twice, but got rained off. So we're still trying.
Yeah.
But what we did manage to do was that the kids ministry alongside special needs ministry managed to have a bike night at church. So it was limited to 35 people, which was about 6 or 7 families, 2 of which were special needs families. So that was exciting. All the adults had to wear masks, and the kids had to wear masks unless they were riding their bikes. So they were just basically just riding around in the parking lot. It was closed off. They used the obstacles course signs that I'd set up previously in the summer. And the 2 of the special needs families, they literally had not seen or been with other people since March because they've got compromised health issues. And they just felt it was a safe place to go. They appreciated being with church family, and that was a real success. So we're hoping that that's going to happen at least once a week at both campuses. And we're just getting a bit scared that the same families are going to just keep wanting to come each week, and how we can accommodate more families. So it's a nice problem to have. But yeah, it was fun, and it was just exciting to be able to be outside and just see families get together again.
I love that idea. How fun is that? Okay, I totally wrote that down. I will totally be copying that. Thank you. Once again, Allison saves the day. Al.
It's cheap and easy.
Yeah, there you go. I like it. Al, what's going on in New York City, New Jersey area?
Yeah, we had a drive-in movie night this past Friday and Saturday. on our main campus. There was a 40-foot screen that the church rented, and I didn't go. My wife went with my 3 kids and a friend, so I missed it. But I saw pictures. It looked like it went pretty well for both the nights there. I just got an email today. We're having a parade for the special needs families at 2 of our different campuses on September 4th, a Friday night. So they're going to do Disney characters, I guess, and stuff like that. So we'll see what that looks like, but that should be a lot of fun as well for the families. And I was involved with Capernaum Young Life camps. We did them mostly virtual, but we had in-person snack bars with games on both camps we did in New York and New Jersey. We had a hurricane here, and it knocked out power the first day a couple weeks ago, so we had to cancel, or we had days 2 and 3 a week later because a lot of us didn't have power or internet, which was unexpected. But the camps went very well, and they were much appreciated by the teens that went and the families, and the snack bars went really well, the in-person ones as well. So it was very encouraging to be part of those.
That's great. Question on the parade, is that where families stay in the car and the characters are outside?
As far as I know, yes. Yeah, it's a drive-by parade, so we're supposed to stay in the cars, I think.
Okay. All right, fun. I know a couple of you have done that type of thing where the families stay in the cars. Okay. Great. I love these creative ideas. Ryan, let me ask you. Oh, good. I was just going to ask you. Okay, so Ryan's reading my mind. He just put in the chat the link for the video-driven curriculum at Ability Ministry. So it launched an hour ago. Oh, you heard it here first, people. So it's a new series called Be Kind, and Bronwyn is the special guest partner on this one, and the link is in the chat here. So, but for those of you watching this later, we'll put the link in the when we post the video. All right.
I want to thank Ryan for the stuff that he produces. Our folks have been using it for about 1.5 years and just love it. Love it. And the video component now, being able to do that by Zoom, has been so engaging. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. And you get some shout out in the chat too. So
Nice.
Thank you, Ryan. All right, what else do we have going on? I can tell you another thing that our church is up to. So at some point, we're not going to be able to meet to have outdoor Sunday school because, #Cleveland. So the children's ministry team is going to start recording a children's service. So like worship, like a skit, Bible verse, like all the things we would normally do on a Sunday morning. And I think it's going to stream on our channel between the 2 services that stream. So the services will be live. This won't be live, but it'll stream. And so I'm trying to figure out how I can include something that, is like specifically is for my students. So I'll be working on that. Anna is asking in the chat, any Bible studies for the siblings of families impacted with special needs or disability? I'll have to think about that one. Catherine, I'm just trying to think through like some of the key ministry writing team. We have like Lisa Jameson, Sandra Peoples. Those are some of our writers that really speak to siblings. And I'm just trying to think if any of their resource, if any of their books would specifically address that.
I'm not off the top of my head. I can't think for sure that they would, but they are probably both, have good resources that touch on special needs siblings. Because Sandra in particular blogs about that regularly.
Yeah, so if you go to qministry.org, you can see our writing team, and I would definitely check out Sandra Peoples and Lisa Jameson specifically for the subject of siblings. Carrie says, does anyone have a volunteer checklist they'd be willing to share with her? Specifically looking for a list of tasks by volunteer description that you ask your special needs volunteers to do at a given service. So Carrie, is this for like when we're, you know, like back in real life, kind of?
Yeah, that would be great. Just trying to, those tasks that you've wanted to catch up on for a long time, just trying to get it ready before we regather. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I know Doc with SOAR has SOAR Special Needs Ministry.org, ministry.org, SOARSpecialNeeds.org. Did I get it right? Okay. So he definitely has some resources. Let's see. I mean, Key Ministry has some resources. I can't think of a particular checklist off the top of my head, though. That's actually, I kind of want it, let me get your thought on this. So we do we do monthly disability ministry video roundtables. So this type of discussion, but we pick a specific topic. I kind of want to tackle volunteer onboarding and training as a topic, because even if you did it before, like we're starting, everybody's going to kind of be starting new. So would anybody be interested in doing that as our topic for September? Would anybody? All right, let's do that. Okay. So we'll gather your ideas and we'll talk about that on the third Wednesday in September. Okay, and Catherine has shared a link to our writers page so you can learn more about some of our writers, including Lisa and Sandra. All right, what else? Yes, Julie, what's up?
So we're continuing, some of you all know this, that we're continuing our amazing sensory room that we have that was donated to our church. And during the week, 9 families, individual families at a time, 3 each day, Tuesday through Thursday, get to come in for an hour and a half and utilize that room. So we're still scheduling that. That may change next week. School is about to start. I think there's the first 7 weeks or something like that is virtual, and then they're going to try to phase people in. A lot of special needs kids, though, are actually going to school because they're making those facilities available for a lot of the special needs kids. So that might just kind of morph into something different, just because, you know, those families might not want to utilize that service anymore. But they have enjoyed every single minute of it, and I've got more families than we have time slots, and so it gets a little tricky. I pray through the list every single week to try to figure out who to ask if they would like to come, and God always works it out. So that's still going on. Yesterday we had, our pastor had a family meeting on Facebook Live. So we all came to Facebook Live. Our church is starting to bring everybody back, children's ministry back at the end of this month. So August 30th is the first day since March, that we will be in the building with children's ministry. And that is from nursery through 5th grade. And then what they've determined is they're not going to do middle school and high school on Sunday mornings because we need the space to spread out those nursery through 5th grade people. And volunteers, because there can only be so many people in a classroom, and we've had as many as 15 to 19 kids in a classroom, and we can't do that anymore. So they're going to have to spread them out. So they decided that they were going to do middle school and high school on Wednesday nights. And then they're encouraging those students to actually serve in children's ministry. Go to church with your family and then serve in children's ministry. And so that could be a really cool discipleship thing for the middle school and the high school students. And we're hoping that that will just move them right in. Life groups for adults is going to be interesting because there's only 1 hour, well, it's like an hour and a half, but there's only one service that we're going to have children's programming. And so Tom and I are getting ready to start a new life group, and we need that childcare or that children's program for the families that want to come. And so we're squeezing into that 9:45 time slot and hoping that our families can register their kids and still get in, because they have to register everybody. You know, it has to be limited. So that part is going to be interesting, because here's something that might be helpful to you all. All life groups will meet in person, but they'll also have a Zoom component. And I'm hoping to talk our special needs director into doing that for the people that are in the special needs room as well. You know, so that some of those kids, I mean, they might flip by the screen, but at least they'll feel like they're a part of what's going on. So we're hoping for that. But in our life group that we're getting ready to start, we have to be 6 feet apart in the room. The leaders have to wear masks until everybody's settled. Then they can take their mask off so people can see their lips while they're talking. So that's the plan there. If anybody in the group, though, this might be interesting to y'all. If anybody in the group tests positive for COVID at any time, then we need to notify leadership. Leadership will then notify everyone that's ever come to the class, and then we will skip a week of meeting. And I will give that 2-week time frame. More than likely, that'll give that time frame to be quarantined, or to, you know, see if anything happens, if anything falls out. So I thought that was an interesting way to do it. I won't go into the whole choir thing because that's not really this platform, but you know, just trying to figure out what is going to be best for each family, and how do you reach every family, you know. So in the children's ministry, you've got, it's not the special needs ministry, but you've got special needs kids, y'all know that. And so how do you accommodate for those kids in this quarantine life, you know, in this COVID life? And so it'll be interesting. I'll report later as things get started on the 30th and beyond, how things are going, so you all can, you know, take the good and run with it and forget the bad parts. So that's what.
Thank you. We appreciate you going for us. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. And because this is the mood I'm in today, I'm gonna just pick out all the little encouraging things that I'm hearing. So I heard 2 big pandemic wins. So I heard that you are potentially getting new volunteers for your ministry, because the students might be, you know, be coming to you that are in the middle school group or whatever, the student ministry group. So I heard that. And then also, by trying to set up these Zoom rooms where you're having your groups meet in person, but also on Zoom at the same time, you are potentially reaching individuals and families that weren't able to be part of such a group before. So I'm seeing 2 big pandemic wins there. Way to go, Meekins. All right, Brett from Johnny and Friends, thank you, posted a good link in the chat. And so if you're not able to view the chat, it's at johnnyandfriends.org, and then there's a whole, like, you know, ministries/church. I think you'll be able to find it. But he said the link includes job descriptions for special needs volunteers. So thank you for posting that, Brett. Glad you're here. All right, what else is going on? Doc, you've been quiet today. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, so several things. First one that I'm super excited about to announce to everyone is we just officially launched registration for the Wonderfully Made Special Needs Conference. So everyone can get on there. We've got early bird discounts on there, which is 20% off. We've got special rates for groups as well. But the website for that is wonderfullymadekc.com. Or you could go to soarspecialneeds.org and get there as well. But we're excited about that. It'll be October the 19th through the 23rd. We have 60 plus speakers from all over the country as well as Canada. Many are on this talk right now. So we've got tracks for both families as well as ministry. And it's going to be a great conference, all virtual. So make that available to everyone. Unfortunately, we had been hoping that we'd be doing it also in Spanish and Russian, and that did not work out for us. So unfortunately, it'll just be in English, but we're hoping to still try and see what we can do there. Other things, and while doing quick promotion there, also share Bronwyn's on here. She's going to be joining me for Talk with Doc this week. We're going to be talking on how to do parent support groups and communities, whether they're in person or virtual. So that's going to be a big thing, especially as we're trying to get back, how we can reach out to families and help them out through things. So make sure you check into that. That'll be Friday from noon to 1 Central. For us, what we're doing right now, this week we've got 2, and next week we got 2. We are launching our virtual events, which are going to be pseudo respite for the families, but it's all virtual. We're breaking it down by age group. This week we'll do preschool and elementary. Our preschoolers, it's all going to be over Zoom. Our preschoolers will be doing a half-hour session with a music therapist. And they'll just have some fun with the music therapist, all virtually. We're going to be bringing in some buddies and room leads to be helping with all that as well. And then for our elementary virtual room, we are going to be doing, like multiple things. And the elementary, teen, and adult rooms will all be an hour in length, and we'll do multiple things. For the elementary, we're doing a scavenger hunt, and then we'll be bringing in multiple other things like some trivia games we have, some other Zoom games that we have. For our teens, we're bringing in, on top of that, doing some karaoke, some Dance Party Revolution, freeze dance, a lot of different things like that. And then for adults, we're also adding in the bingo as well as a mixture of everything else there. We're having really good response with that. A lot of our families signing up for that, so we're excited with that. And what's been cool with that is, again, since it's virtual, anyone can do it. So far we've got about 6 states represented that have signed up for it. So again, anyone can get in and do it. We do have limited spaces though. We want to make sure we're going to be able to handle everyone there with that. So if you're interested in that, you can go to our website with it. Right now, I've been working pretty hard with helping churches in getting ministry up and launched or relaunched. And so it seems like every day I'm talking to at least 1 or 2 churches and walking them through. It's been interesting. What I'm finding is pretty much everyone on the West Coast has pretty much now has said we're not launching until 2021 at the earliest with that. And then as you move across the country, you see that timeline changing with everything. But at the same time, everyone's trying to figure out how to do the hybrid. And so I think that's the important thing is, as we're all moving forward, is keeping in mind we need to do a hybrid type of ministry moving forward. Ministry as we knew it is never going to be the same again. We should never go back to doing ministry the way we did before. If we did, we are failing our families. So that's the most important thing we need to remember as we move forward is we have to change. And I think that's one of the best things that has happened with COVID is it is making us change how we minister to our families. And so constantly find ways that you're going to continue to be able to minister virtually with them. And what I'm suggesting with a lot of churches is that you create a whole new volunteer role, a leadership role as an online director. A lot of times you'll have a weekend director, but if you can actually create an online director that'll kind of take over that virtual and that online community and help minister there will help. And because, we all already have a lot on our plate, but one of the things that as ministry leaders, all of us should always be doing is trying to replicate ourselves and replacing ourselves. And so this is one way now to do that. We need to find the leadership to raise up, to build up, but this is a great way to do that. It doesn't take a hired staff position. And it's one that I think you can easily get in place. So I've been working with a lot of churches and kind of developing that with that. So it's been an exciting thing to see. So for me, I think that's one of the things I'm most excited about with COVID is the positive thing is seeing ministry change where we can reach more families moving forward. So my biggest thing to everyone is don't ever go back to doing ministry the way you did before. While it may have been good then, we now know it was not effective, and that was not our best. We can do a lot better. So see how you can continue to move forward.
Absolutely. You're getting some amen in the chat for sure. Yeah. And I would say another pandemic win that Doc mentioned was, so SOAR Special Needs Ministry has these awesome respite events. Well, now you're being able to reach families outside of Kansas City. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
Or Overland Park, sorry, outside of Overland Park.
Yeah. It's all the same.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else?
Oh, actually, can I just throw in one other quick thing?
Sure thing.
And some of you may have seen it in the Facebook board that I put in a few weeks ago. For the conference, one of the talks I'm going to do is a disability ministry tour, where because that's one of the things I always enjoy doing whenever going to a conference, being able to take a tour of that disability ministry, see what that looks like. Well, having a virtual conference, we can't do that. So I'm going to highlight 6 ministries, all different sizes, let you see what they look like and kind of going through that. One of the cool things that God's kind of laid on our heart for our organization, and what I want to go ahead and first here offer to everyone on this call is, one of the things I always had wanted to do was have a directory of disability ministries, but we've already got 2 great ones, Key Ministry and Ability Ministry. They both have great ones out there. So I'm like, I don't need to recreate that wheel. But as doing this, I've had great response. And so what God's laid on our heart and we're going to move forward with is we're going to create a virtual directory where we're going to ask every ministry out there to create a 5 to 10 minute video. We'll host it on the website. It'll be searchable by city, by state. And it's going to be for 2 things. One, you're going to be able to highlight your ministry, show what's going on, show your rooms, show everything going on. But it's going to do 3 things. One, it's going to be able to show families what you have to offer so that you can bring in new families to your church and your community. 2, at the same time, when families go on vacation, they never know what churches are even available. They now have an idea, and they can see if that would even be right for them. But 2, it's going to bring you new volunteers, because you're going to have volunteers who are going to see what you have to offer, and they're going to be excited about that. And we're going to want to jump on board with that. But then 3, it's going to help us as a disability ministry community by seeing what each other do and get more ideas and more resources. So if we can all lock arms together and grow and be able to help one another, it's a win for everybody. So that's something we're going to be starting to do. So start thinking about how you can do that. Everyone will have a 5 to 10 minute video. We'll host it. So feel free to contact us and I'll get you more information about that. But we're hoping to officially launch it come at conference time in October.
Great. What a great resource that'll be. That reminds me. So I mentioned that each month Key Ministry does a disability ministry video roundtable, and it's the 3rd Wednesday of the month, which means it's this Wednesday, the 19th. And our topic is going to be, is your website as accessible as your ministry? And I really see this as being kind of a twofold discussion. So, and one part of it is I want us to really think about what needs to be on our church or our ministry's website so that folks that are perhaps, checking us out, looking to, be part of our church family, what information do they need to have on the website, and what should that look like? So should it be a video, that type of thing? So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about, especially for folks who use like assistive, like if they're vision impaired and they're using assistive technology to read, websites and social media, what do our posts and what do our web pages need to look like? And we do have some folks coming on who will tell us. So I'm really excited about this for a lot of reasons, and I hope you'll join us. So you can go to keyministry.org/events to sign up. You'll get a Zoom link just like you do for this, and that discussion will be this Wednesday at noon Eastern time. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. Wow, it's already 12:45. Okay. Any other like new things going on that we need to know about?
I was just going to add one positive new thing is for the past 11 years, this will be the 12th year, we've had a 5K at our church, and the last 3 years have been very, very inclusive. Excuse me. And there's an organization, I don't know if anyone is familiar with, called Ainsley's Angels.
Yes, yes.
And they're national, so we have a chapter or a nonprofit here. We raised money for them 3 years ago, but this year, because of COVID, we cannot have a 5K that starts at our church and goes around and comes back. So it's going to be a virtual event, but I was just so happy that our church is going to make it inclusive again and use Ainsley's Angels. So everything will be virtual except on September 12th, we will have the racing chariots, and we will have a little course that they can do within our parking lot. So that's just really exciting to me. So we have it limited and we'll have it socially distanced. And then the one drawback is that Ainsley's Angels will not be providing anyone to push the chariots. It has to be someone from the family themselves, again, just because of COVID. So the last time I looked, we had 19 families signed up to do that. We will be limited to 28. So I'll let everybody know how that goes in September. But I just thought that'll be a neat thing. That'll be different, but
yes, yeah, love it.
Yeah, in the past, the chariots led. They had the kind of the first start, and then after that, all the other runners went. So this time it'll just be the chariots, but we'll still make it special for them. We'll have special music. We'll have an MC, that kind of thing. So I'll let everyone know how it goes.
Okay, great, thank you. That reminds me, the bike night, Allison, that was you, right? Bike night was you? Yeah, okay. So did you have any, like, were there any families where the kids did not ride bikes? Like, were there other modes of transportation, like pull a wagon type of thing?
Not on that night, but in future nights, that's what we're hoping to have, because there's a couple of families where either the child won't stay in the area or issues with disabilities. So we've got some wagons available, or they're bringing wagons, but we don't have any disability bikes or anything available for them. But yeah, okay, they're bringing things from home.
Okay, but like would a family say, oh, we'll bring our wagon? Like, are you saying bring whatever you have, or like it's bike night and then hopefully the families figure that out? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Anybody that's had a query has just asked us, and we've said bring anything that's appropriate that your kid can play with. That means they can be part of it all. But yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely makes sense. And Amanda likes your accent.
Oh, thanks. I just put it on for this. Yeah.
Right. You do it very well.
Well, in that case, thank you.
All right. I think that's it then. Unless anybody else has any other. Oh, yes, Julie.
Tom and I would cover your prayers. We're starting this life group with this theme in mind. We have realized that there are certain adults with disabilities who don't fit into the adult with disabilities class, if you know what I mean, okay? So our daughter is one of them. She doesn't see herself as being comfortable in that class, so that's not where she fits, but she can't find another place to fit. So we decided that we're gonna start one so she can fit in it. And we would cover your prayers that we would have a core group that can love people in all seasons, okay? And in all abilities and disabilities. So this is an adult class, And we want to open it to everybody, people that have kids, people that don't have kids, people that are single parents, people that have kids with special needs, people that are single and they don't have anything to do with kids. You know, it's just some place where we can build a family, a spiritual family. We also have a single daughter who doesn't have special needs, who has often said, she's in almost 30, and she has often said, you know, we isolate ourselves so much sometimes in ministry, in churches. You know, there's singles and there's marrieds and there's families and there's, you know, all this. And she said, I just want to be part of a group that's like a family. She told us that a couple of years ago. Now, she doesn't live in the same state with us, or we would invite her to ours. But it really got us thinking, and we started praying about how can we create something like this? And we're going to do that starting August 30th. That's the life group that we were talking about. So if y'all could pray that we would have a good core group of people that can love anybody that comes, and that everyone is invited. So we would appreciate your prayers, because we've never done anything like this before. We've had life groups, but nothing like this. So it could go really, really well, or it could be a little overwhelming. So we appreciate your prayers.
Absolutely. And that we will definitely need reports on that. Catherine.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Julie, that at my church, there was a group that was a small group, life group, whatever you guys call it at your church, that met for several years. And everybody in the group was there because they had bipolar disorder. And they didn't follow a particular Bible study curriculum, but it kind of started off as there's a lot of secular groups out there that are for support. And so it started off as a Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance group, but they were all people of faith. And so they wanted to be able to, you know, meet on Sunday morning and talk about, you know, scripture and applying it to your life and your problems. I mean, just like any other life group. And I would say that it was incredibly successful. And they had, you know, people who ranged from in their 20s to in their 60s. And so, I mean, they were, and they weren't put there, you know, they chose to go to this class because there were people who understood what their, you know, what their actual real life struggles were. And I mean, they really bonded, and it was very successful. So I will be praying that that is the same thing that happens for you guys, because goodness, in a church as large as yours, there's got to be a lot of people that have those same kinds of needs and desires that you have for your daughter and that she has for herself.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That's great. All right. Well, we will be meeting again in 2 weeks, I think. Hopefully I got that right. And so we'll have a lot to catch up on, I do believe. All right. Well, thank you all. I hope to see you on Wednesday for our Disability Ministry Video Roundtable. And we do have some other webinars coming up. Some are posted already and some aren't. So you can check out keyministry.org/events for that. And thanks again. We had a great group today. I think we had 28 people on, and so obviously the need is still there. We still need each other. Thank you for those of you who participated today in the chat or in person. There was some real encouragement today, so thank you for that. And have a good couple weeks, and we'll see you back here on Monday, the whatever that is, 31st, I guess. All right. Bye, everybody.